Hello, hello. Welcome to your mini training Wednesday. Today, we have another fun topic. We're going to talk about your heart and your throat chakras. But before we jump into it, I know we have some new people in the group, so I just want to introduce myself quick. If we have not met, I am Amber Meyer. I am a soul alignment coach. And what I am passionate about doing is helping light workers and soul seekers like you really discover and align to your soul purpose. And I hope you do that by helping you awaken your gifts and heal any of the blocks that are keeping you from really living fully in your purpose and living the life of your dreams. So that is my passion and what I do. And if you've been following this little mini training series for a while, we have been over time exploring your energy body. So we started off really talking about the basics of what is your aura, your chakras, your meridians, how do they work together? And then now we've really been starting exploring all the different chakras together. And so we've discussed the root chakra and the importance of grounding and embodiment. We've also talked about your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. And I've also shared healing meditations for you for all of those chakras so far too. And so if you have not caught all of those trainings yet, they still are available. So if you're not able to ever make these live, you can always catch the replay right on the Awakened and Aligned community page. Really all you just have to do is scroll. So if any of those sound like fun to you and you didn't have a chance to catch them, they're still there for you. You can go back and check them out anytime. Hey Wendy, hey Susie, thank you both for joining and saying hi. If anyone else comes in, say hi to me. Let me know you're here. Let me know any questions or anything that you have about the heart and the throat chakra as we get into our topics for today too. So to continue our journey of the energy body, we're going to talk about the heart chakra and the throat chakra today, which are some biggies. You know, when we have challenges with these chakras, it can definitely cause some big challenges for us, and they're pretty juicy to talk about. So I'm excited to talk about the heart and the throat today. Lori, hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining too. So let's start with talking about the heart chakra. And so, of course, this one is not difficult to figure out where it is. It's, right in the same area as your physical heart. And typically, people will see this chakra as green. A lot of times you'll see pink with it, but pink is the color of compassion, which is also what you carry in your heart center. So a lot of people will also perceive this chakra as pink too, so in case you see it that way. So if this chakra had a mantra, it would be, I am loved. Valerie, lovely to see you too. Lisa, Chastity, hello, hello. Good to see you both. So the heart chakra does so much for us. It's actually a really fun chakra to learn about and to dig into because it's really the portal between your upper and your lower chakras. And so, like I shared before, you actually have probably over 140 chakras in your body, but most of the time when we talk about chakras, we really focus on those like 7 main chakras, and that's what we're doing in our little series here too, is focusing on those 7 main ones. And so you have 3 lower chakras, which are your root, your sacral, and your solar plexus. Then you have your heart, and then your 3 upper chakras then are your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And so your heart is literally right in between all of those chakras, and it really what connects you. It connects your spiritual self to your physical self. So it's a really important to have a strong connection there. And most of you, if you've ever done any meditations, a lot of times it's like, drop into your heart space, take a breath into your heart. And there's a really good reason for that, because your heart is actually like your portal to your higher self, to your soul self, to creator. It's really, the passageway for you to start to speak to the divine. So it's a really, really important one to keep open. And so this makes it just super vital for your overall well-being, because it connects everything, your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual. Without that connection, things start to go a little bit haywire. And so this chakra is really associated with love, compassion, safety, trust, um, forgiveness, relationships. So it governs a lot of really important things for us. And um, it really also holds your ability to receive. And I know that many of you can struggle with that balance of giving and receiving. And so, if that's something that is challenging for you, where it's really easy for you to give, but it's a lot harder for you to receive or ask for help, that typically is a heart chakra thing that you want to look at. So, if the heart chakra becomes unbalanced, it can be pretty easy to start to feel detached from the world or even from yourself. It kind of removes you that oneness feeling that you might have with others. And so it can lead to this disconnection to people that we love and are in relationship with. And it can lead us to a detachment from ourselves too, because our most important relationship in this lifetime is ourselves. So, problems tend to heighten in relationships when there are challenges in the heart chakra. People that have more of a closed heart chakra oftentimes can feel really insecure in relationships and really guarded. And that guarding a lot of times actually creates, sometimes you hear it called a heart wall, or just heart shields, any kind of like energetic wall that people can build between themselves and others. It's really a protection mechanism. Typically people who are really guarded have really been hurt before, and so it's only natural that they would start to put up some of these walls to protect themselves. But unfortunately those walls usually create more problems than what they solve, is what people end up realizing. And so when this chakra is unbalanced, it can lead us to like losing sight of beauty in the world. Like I think all of you probably can think of times in your life where like the beauty of the world is just amazing. You can see beauty in everything and it's just so inspiring. And then there's other times where you just feel so flat. And it's just hard to kind of find the joy and the beauty that you found in things before. When that's happening, again, the heart chakra is a good place to start to do some healing, to be able to see some of that beauty in your life again. And so when it's unbalanced, you might lose empathy or compassion as well, of course for yourself as well as others. And then heart chakra issues can also lead to having a hard time accepting all of yourself, rejecting parts of yourself, not seeing yourself as worthy, or maybe having an inability to forgive yourself or others tends to be something that we hold in our heart center as well. And so the heart chakra, like all the other chakras, has some typical both psychological and mental issues that come up when it's unbalanced, and also some physical issues. And so some more common, more mental or emotional issues that would come up would be feeling really like apathetic, just like meh, like what does it matter, maybe unforgiving, hopeless, distrustful, a bit detached, and this heart center can also hold hatred and resentment and bitterness, and a lot of times when we have those, they get buried so deep, just because as humans we've been taught that these are bad emotions, or only bad people are resentful or bitter or things like that. And so a lot of times if we have those feelings, it's like almost like we try to sweep them under a rug right away, instead of allowing ourselves to process them, and then they can cause us some challenges later that we need to heal. So some more common physical issues of the heart chakra include any heart, like physical heart issues, of course, and then really a lot of things that would be associated with lungs, so like allergies, pneumonia, asthma, you name it. So anything that is held in the lungs can really usually be impacted by the heart. The lungs in general also are an indicator of grief, which we hold grief in our heart. So this also can give you upper back pain, shoulder pain, upper arms, It's also connected to your thymus gland. So a lot of your chakras are connected to specific glands in your body, which I also think is fascinating. And so your thymus gland, a technique that I actually had learned at one point that I'll share with you before I forget, is if you have a hard time really being able to like drop into and tap into your heart center, and if you like spend a lot of time in your brain, actually tapping your thymus can help you move into your heart space. So if that's something that's challenged you, just kind of find your your breastplate, kind of by your upper chest here, and just tap on it. And what that does is it kind of wakes up your thymus, which is associated with your heart chakra. So, has anyone ever heard of that practice before? I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. I'm trying to remember where I learned that. You all probably run into the same problem. You've gone through so many classes and things, you're like, I don't even remember where I learned that at this point. All right. Well, I'm not seeing anyone who knows that one so far, but give it a shot. See if it helps. It's I don't know much about tapping. Maybe we have some people who are tapping specialists in here, and you can tell us more about that. I don't know if it's associated with the tapping practice or not, because that's not where I learned it. So let's see, what else do I want to tell you about the heart? So the other thing with the heart, with the heart chakra, but any of the chakras really, is when we say that they're unbalanced, that can mean that that it is underactive, which another word for underactive typically is blocked, like not enough energy is flowing through there. But the other side of being unbalanced, of course, is overactive. So that could be, like the chakras, like massively open and maybe taking in more energy and doing more work than what it needs to do. And so either extreme creates unbalance and can cause different types of issues. Wendy, you said you've heard of tapping, never tried it. Yeah, I think I listened to a meditation once that had tapping, and I bought a book on how to learn how to tap. But I buy a lot of books that end up sitting in a pile for a really long time, and then eventually I get to them. So that is one that I'm really interested in learning about tapping, because I just find all sorts of healing modalities fascinating. But I have not dug into that one. And Valerie, you said you've done it for years. Maybe you learned it in massage school. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's hard to remember where we learned some of this stuff. I'm trying to remember where I learned it. It's not going to come to me now. So with our chakras being either underactive or overactive, typically if someone has more of a underactive, like more of a blocked heart chakra, it's going to make you feel more closed, more isolated, more distanced from others, from nature, from spirit, and any of those things. Depression can also be a sign of a closed heart. Then more on the overactive side of things, it can almost be like starving yourself of energy, because you're giving and you're giving and you're giving and you're giving. And so you're just giving out so much, and you're not keeping anything, or you're not taking anything in return. And so that can really exhaust the heart chakra over time. And with that overactive, a lot of times that can come across as like really oversensitive to things, and where really small things really bother you, or get a really big emotional reaction that maybe it doesn't require that big of a reaction to. Chastity, you tap on your thymus. You learned it from Donna Eden. Okay, I've heard her name, but I'm not familiar with her. Awesome. But yeah, this training reminded me of that. I haven't actually done that practice for a while, so I'll be utilizing it again myself, pulling that back up. So when you have a balanced heart chakra, you're really going to have a balance in that flow of giving and receiving. Like that's going to feel easy and natural. You're going to feel nurtured and nourished by yourself and others. You're not going to feel like it's an obligation that you have to give and give to other people. And when we have a balanced heart chakra, it really can enhance the love that we have for ourselves and for others. like I've shared with the other chakras, there's different like crystals and essential oils that you can utilize if you feel like this is a chakra that could use a little bit of attention for yourself. And so for crystals, really most any crystals that are pink or green are going to help connect you to your heart chakra. And so, like rose quartz is a really nice pink one that you can use and just has such gentle, loving energy. Malachite is a beautiful green stone. Green aventurine is another one. Jade. And then if to be able to pull both colors together, watermelon tourmaline is a really good one for the heart as well, and it has pinks and greens in it. For essential oils, rose and eucalyptus are good ones for the heart. And so, other than just kind of hearing what, if anything kind of stuck out to you, excuse me, getting a tickle in my throat. I guess my throat chakra knows that we're going to start talking about the throat chakra. So, other than just after hearing what it might look like to be in balance or out of balance in your heart chakra, I'm going, that sounds like me, or no, I think I'm pretty good there. Another way for you to get in touch with, is this a chakra that could use some healing for you, is literally just to like drop your awareness into that space. And so I invite you all now just to take a moment and close your eyes. And I ask you to close your eyes just because it just deepens your inner awareness. And just drop your awareness into your heart. Maybe you can try that thymus tapping. Move into your heart space and just get a sense of like, what does it feel like in there? And your body can give you all sorts of really good indicators on the health of a chakra just by moving into that space. So just noticing, like, does it feel tight or constricted in any way? Does it feel open and flowing? So those would be more like somatic type responses, dropping into your heart. But also tap into your emotions. Like, what emotions come up to you when you sit in this space? Does it feel more like deep joy and gratitude? Just peace and fulfillment? Or does it feel a little more sad? Maybe a little angry? A bit of anxiety? Maybe some loneliness? So just kind of take note of what comes up for you when you tap into that space, and just take note of it. So you can plan to do some heart healing for yourself if it feels like that's the space that you need it. So how's everyone feeling when you tap into your heart? Let me know in the chat. Then we'll start talking about our throat chakra. Now that mine wanted to cough. The throat chakra is one of my chakras that I've worked on healing for quite some time. So I'm absolutely not surprised that it's acting up. It's kind of funny. All right. Well, let me know how your heart's feeling. Kathleen, jumpy. Yeah, kind of like nervous a little bit. Yeah. Maybe a little all over the place. Does anyone here feel like your heart is needing a little bit of attention from you? A little tight, yeah. Yeah, mine's feeling a little tight too. I can understand. Yeah. Scattered emotionally between pure joy and profound sadness. Yeah. It's, Kathleen, isn't it amazing how many vastly different emotions we can feel at once? we are complex beings. So yeah, it is. I think for some reason, like, we logically think like, well, I can't be completely joyous and happy and profoundly sad at the same time, but you can be. And so I'm really glad that you're able to feel both those things at the same time. And Valerie, good but a little wobbly. Your heart loved the attention. Oh, I love that. That's sweet. And the reminder to be in the flow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been reminded lately, I think, from just like trauma and things that I've had in the past. I used to have really big heart walls that I worked on for a long time, and really worked on dissolving those. But lately, I've been reminded, like, kind of how quick those can just like come right back up when something hurtful happens, and it was just like, that human response just to kind of shut down and shut things out. So I've been reminded about that. So if that resonates for everyone else, let me know. Kathleen, yeah, it is a strange space to be, but yeah, it just shows like how big and complex we are, that we can be all those different things, and that you're allowing space for both of them. I think that shows a lot about you, about really being deeply in touch with yourself and your emotions and what's going on with you, and allowing yourself to feel them, because a lot of people would just like shut one down or the only allow the one up. So that's great. Okay, let's talk about the throat too. So the throat is the chakra is at the base of your throat here, and it's blue color. So anywhere from kind of like a sky blue to a bright blue is typically how your throat chakra is going to show up. And if your throat chakra had a mantra, it would be, I am expressive. And so really the key function, isn't this funny? Now I'm gonna have to start clearing my throat. My throat's playing tricks on me. It's kind of funny. It's associated with expression, communication, freedom. So really like your personal expression. And it's really the first of your higher chakras that we talked about. And so it's really, this gift is about accepting the gifts of your authenticity, expressing your authentic voice, speaking your truth. And how I've seen it compared before that I thought was really fascinating is it's like the root chakra for the spirit. And so like your actual root chakra at the base of your tailbone is the root chakra for your body. And so that's responsible for your body's expression in the world. And so your throat is responsible for your spirit's expression into the world. So I thought that was a fabulous way of looking at it. And so if your throat chakra becomes unbalanced, you may be unable to communicate verbally, physically, emotionally, in a way that's completely true and honest with yourself. And so this chakra really helps connect us to our ability to express ourselves. And so a number of issues can come up if that becomes blocked and we're not fully expressing ourselves. And what that can often happen, with that is that we end up trapping emotions because we're not allowing them to come out and be expressed. And so blocked throat chakra is often really associated with repression of emotions, because we're not allowing them to come out. And often people who struggle with codependence really struggle with blocked throat chakras too. And I think a lot of us have grown up in an atmosphere like that we've been working on healing and moving ourselves out of. So trauma, both physical and emotional, can cause this chakra to tighten up or close off, and it makes it really hard to express emotion. And so earlier in our trainings, we talked a lot about meridians, really those pathways that connect our different energy centers. And when there's an issue with the throat chakra, I very often see a strong connection to other chakras with it. And so, if there's been some sort of abuse, a lot of times it's connected to the sacral chakra. If the ability to express yourself is hindered from deep beliefs of not feeling good enough, or lacking some of that confidence, that's oftentimes then deeply connected to your solar plexus. So, just an interesting note there as well. So, this chakra also has connections to different, physical and more emotional or psychological issues. And so more on the emotional or mental side of things, if this chakra is unbalanced, it can create a lot of like nervousness and anxiety, feeling isolated, poor coping skills. It can lead to a fear of a lack of power of choice. It can also lead to readily following the desires or opinions of others, like being too fearful to kind of express what your own needs are in a situation and just like kind of going with what someone else wants. And so it can also lead to doubt and negative thinking as well. And so common physical issues, again, a lot of times the issues are kind of associated with that area of your body. So this one's connected to your thyroid gland, which of course is in your throat area. And it can also lead to a lot of problems more with like your sinuses and like your nasal cavity. So it can also lead to more of like a chronic raspy throat or sore throat, laryngitis, jaw pain, TMJ, that sort of thing. Like, if you are a person that like when you try to speak up, your voice like totally cracks. Like I was like the shyest kid in all of school. I remember in high school, I was that kid that if I stood in front of class, I was the person like my paper would just be trembling in my hands and everyone would be telling me speak up, and I would feel like I was shouting, but my throat would almost like it was so tight, it hurt so bad. Like, like sometimes if you're on the brink of crying and you haven't started crying yet and you get that super tightness in your throat, that is a throat chakra thing. So pay attention to that if that's you. So anything really with that area. So like if you have like teeth or gum problems, some neck pain, ear infections, those all tend to be associated with your throat. You keep hearing speak for me and your cough. Yeah, and your throat started getting itchy now too. Yeah. I know. I think it's funny. It's like I start talking about the throat and immediately I have a froggy voice and everything else. It's hilarious. Our chakras are tricksters. So, an underactive throat chakra is likely to result in you being having a kind of a quiet and stifled voice. Maybe that kind of just going with the flow because you don't want to, stir things up or get too much attention from having a different opinion. If you do try to be loud, it often sounds hoarse. And if it's blocked, you're often not able to like fully express your truth to others, or you might be afraid of expressing how you truly feel about something. Sometimes, like, have you ever negotiated with yourself? Like, should I be feeling this way? I'm not sure I should be feeling this way. Maybe this is just my problem. Maybe I don't need to say anything about it because maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being oversensitive right now. Anyone else? I've had a lot of experience in that. So that would be a throat chakra issue. Like you're just like negotiating with yourself. No, I don't need to. Finding all the reasons why I don't have to speak up and say that. It doesn't matter. No, it's fine. It's fine. All you're doing, you're just pushing your feelings down. So then if you have an overactive chakra, that might result in like over talking and kind of babbling, or like controlling conversations too much, or maybe not allowing others to talk freely. I think maybe not really having the awareness that you're doing it, or maybe not having like a filter when it would pay to have a filter. So those would be some signs there. So you really want to be able to open and balance your throat chakra because it allows you to really express and communicate your feelings freely. It's also, I think it's great that we're talking about the throat and the heart together because really being able to express yourself freely is like one of the biggest acts of kindness that you can give to yourself. It's basically a huge act of compassion for yourself. You're basically saying every time that you decide to take a risk and say that my feelings are important enough to stand up for, or my opinion is important enough to stand for, you're saying I am important enough to stand up for. I am worthy of that. And so it's this big act of love every time we do that for ourselves. So they're really highly connected. So it's fun that we're talking about them at the same time. So it'll really bring a deeper sense of who you are and self-love when you're able to express these things. And it's really healthy for your overall healing process and just keeping up the overall kind of like hygiene of your energy body, because the more you express things as they come up, the less likely they are to get like stuck in your energy body, and then you have to go and try to find ways to heal those things later. Sarah, you're saying, yeah, that's you. Oh, you got here. So good to see you, Sarah. And Valerie, you said, I used to speak up when your whole body was quaking. So many things never got expressed. Yeah, it can be so terrifying to really speak your truth when you're not used to it. There's so many different things that have taught us not to do that. It could be abuse, it could be codependence, it could be so many different things lead us to not expressing ourselves. And the good news is that it gets easier, right, Valerie? It's not like you might necessarily be like super brave, after speaking up once. But I remember I felt really uncomfortable speaking up at work for a really long time when I'd be in new situations, or if I would be like completely surrounded by executives or something like that. And I always had a goal for myself, like I'm going to speak up with an opinion at least once, so like small goals can really help you move forward in it. Cat Stevens is running through your head. If you want to sing out, sing out. Nice. Love it. Love it. So again, there's crystals and essential oils that can be helpful for working with your different chakras as well. So of course, for your throat chakra, pretty much anything blue is going to be good for you. And so some good ones are like sodalite. I would really suggest. There's blue calcite. Blue kyanite, I love blue kyanite anyway. It helps your throat, but really it helps balance all of your chakras. So if you don't have blue kyanite, I highly suggest that one. Celestite, angelite, aquamarine, these are all really good ones for your throat. Essential oils, clementine and blue chamomile are really good ones too. If we have any folks in the group that are really awesome with essential oils, feel free to pop anything else up in there. I like essential oils, but I will not claim to have a whole lot of knowledge about them. So it's something I'm learning more about. So that is your heart chakra and your throat chakra. I want you to take another moment to feel out your throat chakra. So of course, I probably said some things where you're like, yep, that's me, definitely me. Or I used to have that issue, but I'm really feeling kind of good now, So, but beyond just what you heard, I want you again just to like be able to drop into your throat chakra space. Just bring your awareness into your throat and just see what comes up for you. Again, pay attention to any of those physical sensations that your throat's trying to tell you. Like mine feels like, how you like suddenly get like a little bit of dust in your throat and you want to cough? Like that's how mine feels. So it feels just kind of like itchy almost. Dry. Does it feel tight? Does it feel open? Does it feel like you want to burst out in song? But then also tap into the emotions that you might have in there. Like what emotions do you feel when you tap into your throat? Do you just kind of get slammed with like, oh my God, anxiety? Or does it feel like more powerful, like you're standing up tall? So let me know how your throats are doing in the chat. Mine obviously needs some work. Doing lives like this are actually part of my healing plan, in case you want to know. I'll be vulnerable and I'll tell you that. Kathleen, itchy, phlegmy, warm. Okay, you and I are probably around the same place. We can do some throat healing together. But yeah, this healing work that we do, you know, with our energy body, with our chakras, with anything we heal, it's usually not a one and done. It's usually something you work on for a while. You kind of like heal little layers of it as you go, and you realize how far you've come over time. But it usually isn't a one and done. So keep working at it. So now that hopefully you all have an idea, do my heart and my throat need a little bit of love, a little bit of attention, that you can do some healing work on yourself. I also do have a next session on the calendar already, and what I'll be doing is offering a live healing, group healing on our hearts and our throat chakras that are centered around those chakras. So if these are areas that you think could use a bit of healing for you, make sure you get that session on your calendar. It's October 26th, same time, same place. So I hope to see you there. And if these are chakras that you feel are just like long-term issues for you, or maybe something really kind of big is coming up for you right now, I always suggest seeing a healer too. I know we have lots of really fabulous, talented healers in this group. I offer energy and angel healing myself as well. So don't hesitate to reach out and get help with the healing that you need too. I think what I find for me is doing all the healing for myself isn't effective, but always going to others for healing isn't effective either. It's kind of like you got to do some of the regular healing work yourself, and then have others help you on your path as well. We all have blinders on sometimes, blind spots that we don't see, and going to another healer can really help you see what those are and be able to get past some of those blocks too. So I always suggest that. Kathleen, you say it's wound care, like when a scab comes off but the skin isn't healed. Yeah, it's it. We really have to nurture ourselves over a period of time, and I think that's another act of self-love and compassion, is giving ourselves that time, giving ourselves that patience. So thanks for saying that. That's a great way to describe it. But I've kept you over the half hour that I promised. You wouldn't think I was having throat chakras with being so chatty, right? Well, love you all so much, and I will see you in the group. Have a good night.